There is a feeling that comes just before the world awakens. A quiet space between the last dream of the night and the first thought of the day. It is a moment of pure potential, where a single, unexamined memory can shape the entire course of the hours that follow. As this journey begins, if you wish to share this calm with others, a gentle press of the like button is all that is needed. To continue these explorations, feel free to subscribe. There is no bell to ring, only peace to be found. Now, let us settle in. Let your body grow heavy and your mind grow still. We are traveling back in time to a place of wood and paper and steam. We find ourselves in 16th century Kyoto, a city of quiet dignity and hidden beauty. The story we are about to witness is not one of battles or emperors, but of something far more gentle. It is the story of a single day. A day in the life of a man named Kenjiro, a merchant of tea. His world is small, but his understanding is deep, and his day is about to begin. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and listen. The first stirrings of dawn are upon us. The darkness in Kenjiro's room is not complete. A soft, grey light filters through the paper of the shoshi screen, a faint prediction of the sun that is still far below the eastern hills. The air is cool against his skin. He lies perfectly still on his futon, his breathing slow and even. He has been awake for some moments, not from a sudden noise, but from a gradual rising of his own awareness. It is a skill he has practiced for many years, to awaken gently without struggle, to greet the day not as an interruption to sleep, but as a continuation of peace. He does not move. He simply listens. The house is silent. His wife, Hane, breathes softly beside him. The city of Kyoto is still wrapped in a deep slumber. There are no sounds of carts or merchants yet, only the distant, faint cry of a single bird greeting the coming light. This is his favorite time. This is the time of pure quiet. Kenjiro thinks of the day ahead. He does not see it as a series of tasks or challenges. He sees it as a path made of small, careful steps. Each step is important. Each step has its own purpose. He visualizes his shop, the smooth wooden counter, the rows of ceramic tea caddies, the iron kettle hanging over the hearth. It is all there, waiting for him. The shop is more than a place of business. It is a place of practice. A place where he connects with the world through the simple act of preparing and sharing tea. His mind is clear. There are no worries of yesterday, no anxieties for tomorrow. There is only this moment, this cool, quiet, grey moment before the dawn. He focuses on his breath, in and out, a slow, steady rhythm, like the gentle tide of a calm sea. Each breath washes away any lingering traces of sleep, leaving him feeling clean and present. The grey light at the screen becomes a little brighter. It is a subtle change, almost impossible to notice. But Kenjiro feels it. He is connected to the rhythm of the day. Slowly, carefully, he begins to move. He does not want to disturb the perfect stillness of the house. He swings his legs from under the thick covers, his feet finding the cool tatami mat floor. The touch of the woven straw against his skin is familiar and grounding. He stands up, his movements fluid and silent. He is a man who has learned the economy of motion. No wasted energy, no sudden gestures. He slides the shoshi screen open a tiny fraction, just enough to look out into the small inner garden. The moss on the stones is dark with dew. The leaves of the small maple tree are black silhouettes against the lightning sky. A single stone lantern stands in the corner of the garden. Its light was extinguished hours ago, but it remains a point of focus, a symbol of quiet guidance. He closes the screen again, the paper making only the softest whisper of a sound. He feels a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the quiet. Gratitude for the coming day. He walks through the darkened house. The wooden floorboards are smooth under his bare feet. He knows every dip, every slight imperfection in the wood. He has walked this path thousands of times. He reaches the main room of the house. Here, the family shrine sits in its alcove. It is a simple wooden shelf, holding a few meaningful objects. He kneels before it. He does not pray with words. His prayer is one of silent respect. He bows his head, acknowledging the ancestors, the spirits of the house, and the flow of life that connects everything. This daily ritual centers him. It reminds him that he is part of something larger than himself. His small life, his simple shop, they are all part of a great, unfolding pattern. He stays there for several long minutes, simply breathing. The house is still silent. The city is still quiet. He is alone with his thoughts, but he does not feel lonely. He feels connected. The light outside is growing now. The grey has turned to a pale, soft lavender. The edges of the world are beginning to define themselves. Kenjiro rises from his knees. The first part of his day is complete. The inner preparation is done. Now, the outer work can begin. He moves towards the back of the house, towards the small kitchen. There is a specific order to his morning, a rhythm that has been perfected over many years. First, the water. The water is the soul of the tea. Without pure, clean water, even the finest leaves are wasted. The journey to the well is the first true step of his working day. He finds his wooden buckets, their handles worn smooth by his hands. They are old friends, partners in his daily craft. He picks them up. They are light in his hands now, but soon they will be heavy with their precious cargo. He slides open the back door of the house. The cool morning air rushes in, carrying the scent of damp earth and distant wood smoke. It is a clean, honest smell. He steps out into the narrow alleyway behind his home. The sky above is a canvas of deep purple and soft orange. The day is beginning, and Kenjiro, the tea merchant, is ready to meet it. He walks down the alley, his steps sure and steady. He does not hurry, the well is not far, and the day is long. There is a deep sense of peace in these first moments, a feeling that everything is in its right place. The world is awakening, and he is awakening with it. He thinks about the tea leaves waiting for him in the shop. He can almost smell their grassy, sweet fragrance. Each type of tea has its own personality, its own story. Today, he will grind fresh matcha. The thought of the bright green powder, the scent filling the air, brings a quiet smile to his face. It is a task that requires patience and focus. It is a form of meditation. He will also sort a new batch of sencha that arrived yesterday. He will sit with his apprentice, Haru, and they will work together in silence, their hands moving with practiced care. He will prepare tea for his customers. Some will be old friends, others will be new faces. Each person brings their own energy into his shop. He sees it as his duty to offer them a moment of peace, a moment of connection. The path of tea, the Chado, is not just about drinking a beverage. It is about creating a space of tranquility in a busy world. It is about appreciating the beauty in simple things. This is the philosophy that guides Kenjiro. It is woven into every action he takes, from the way he draws water from the well to the way he presents a bowl of tea to a guest. He reaches the end of the alley and turns onto a slightly wider street. A few other early risers are also about now. A tofu seller pushing his cart, a priest on his way to the temple. They exchange quiet bows of acknowledgement. No words are needed. There is a sense of shared purpose in the early morning city. Everyone is beginning their day, contributing their small part to the life of Kyoto. Kenjiro feels the wooden handle of the bucket in his hand. He feels the cool air on his face. He sees the colors of the dawn painting the sky. He is here, he is present, and he is ready for the day. A day that will be just like any other, and yet completely unique. A day filled with the simple, profound beauty of tea. The neighborhood well stands at a small intersection of 3 quiet streets. It is a simple structure of dark, weathered wood with a heavy tiled roof to keep out the rain and falling leaves. A thick rope is coiled neatly beside the opening, its end tied to a sturdy wooden bucket. The well is old, much older than anyone living in the neighborhood. The stones that line its circular mouth are worn smooth from centuries of use. Kenjiro believes this well provides the best water in this part of Kyoto. It is clear and cold, with a subtle sweetness that he feels brings out the very best qualities in his tea. He has tried water from other wells, but he always returns to this one. He approaches the well with a sense of respect. He places his own 2 buckets on the ground and gives a slight bow to the structure. A silent thank you for the gift it is about to provide. Another man is there, an old fishmonger named Isor. His own buckets are already full, and he is preparing to lift his carrying pole to his shoulders. He nods to Kenjiro, his face wrinkled into a warm, familiar expression. A good morning for the water, Kenjiro-san, Isor says in a low voice, careful not to break the morning calm. It is always a good morning for this water, Isor-san, Kenjiro replies with a small smile. They do not say more. Their friendship is built on these small, repeated moments. A shared understanding of the rhythms of the neighborhood. Isor adjusts the pole on his shoulder, the buckets of water swaying slightly, and walks away down the street, his footsteps soft on the packed earth. Now Kenjiro is alone at the well. He enjoys this solitude. It allows him to focus completely on the task at hand. Drawing water is not a chore for him. It is a ritual. He picks up the well's bucket and approaches the opening. He peers down into the darkness. He cannot see the water's surface, but he can feel its cool presence rising up to meet him. He can smell its clean, mineral scent. He releases the rope, and the bucket descends into the well. He listens carefully to the sound it makes. The whisper of the rope sliding through his hands, the creak of the wooden pulley above, and then the final, satisfying splash as the bucket hits the water far below. The sound echoes up from the depths, a deep and hollow tone that seems to speak of the earth's secrets. He waits a moment, letting the bucket fill completely. He can feel the change in the tension of the rope. Then he begins to pull. He uses a steady, hand-over-hand motion. His muscles are used to this work. It is not a strain. It is a familiar, rhythmic effort. He pulls with his whole body, his feet planted firmly, his back straight. As the bucket rises, droplets of water fall from it, creating a soft, pattering sound as they splash back into the well. It is a quiet song, the music of the morning. Soon, The bucket emerges from the darkness, brimming with clear, sparkling water. He swings it over and carefully pours its contents into one of his own buckets. He is careful not to spill a single drop. Water is precious. He repeats the process for his second bucket. The same careful lowering, the same patient waiting, the same steady pulling. The movements are so practiced that he does not need to think about them. His body knows what to do. This allows his mind to be still. He focuses on the physical sensations, the roughness of the rope in his hands, the coolness of the spilled drops on his skin, the growing weight of the buckets on the ground beside him. With both his buckets full, he replaces the well's bucket and coils the rope neatly, just as he found it. It is important to leave the well ready for the next person. It is a shared resource, a point of connection for the community. Now comes the most difficult part of the journey. Carrying the full buckets back to his shop, he threads his carrying pole, a thick piece of smooth bamboo, through the handles of the buckets. He squats down, positions the pole across his shoulders, just behind his neck, and stands up slowly. The weight is immense. It presses down on him, forcing him to find his center of balance. For a moment, he stands perfectly still, letting his body adjust to the load. The buckets sway gently at his sides, the water inside them sloshing softly. Then he begins to walk. His steps are short and deliberate. He must walk with a specific rhythm to keep the water from spilling. It is a kind of walking meditation. He cannot afford to be distracted. His gaze is fixed on the path a few feet ahead of him. His mind is focused on maintaining his balance, on feeling the shift of the weight with each step. The journey back is slower than the journey to the well. The sun is higher now, casting long, soft shadows across the street. More people are beginning to stir. The smells of breakfast fires and incense are starting to drift on the air. Kenjiro does not notice these things. His world has narrowed to the path beneath his feet and the weight on his shoulders. He feels the muscles in his legs and back working together. He feels his connection to the ground. This daily act of physical effort reminds him of the value of his craft. Good tea is not made easily. It requires effort. It requires care. It begins here with this journey for pure water. He passes the tofu seller again, who gives him a respectful nod. He passes a group of children on their way to morning lessons, who part to let him pass, their voices hushed in the presence of his focused effort. He can see the back of his shop now, just ahead. A feeling of satisfaction rises in him. He has completed the first essential task of the day. He reaches his back door and carefully, slowly, lowers the buckets to the ground. He rolls his shoulders, feeling the release of the heavy weight. He takes a deep breath. He carries the buckets one by one into the kitchen and places them near the large clay water jar. Using a wooden ladle, he begins to transfer the well water into the jar. The sound of the water pouring is crisp and clear. It is a sound of life, of potential. This water will soon be heated. It will be used to awaken the tea leaves. It will be shared with his customers. He fills the large jar to the top. There is still some water left in the buckets. This he will use for cleaning, for washing the tea bowls and utensils. Nothing is wasted. The ritual of the morning water is complete. It has taken time. It has taken effort. But it has also given him something important. It has given him a sense of purpose. It has connected him to the earth, and it has prepared him, body and mind, for the delicate work that lies ahead. The sun is now fully above the horizon. The day has truly begun. Kenjiro stands in his quiet kitchen, the scent of fresh, cold water filling the air. He is content. The main part of the house is separated from the shop by a sliding door. Kenjiro places his hand on the smooth, dark wood of the doorframe. He takes a moment, a single calming breath, before entering his workspace. Crossing this threshold is a significant act. He is leaving the personal world of his home and entering the public world of his craft. He must bring with him a mind that is clear and a spirit that is calm. He slides the door open. The shop is dark and cool. The air inside is still, holding the faint, layered scents of the previous day. Old wood, dried tea leaves, and the ghost of incense. To Kenjiro, this is the most beautiful perfume in the world. It is the smell of his life's work. His first action is always the same. He walks to the front of the shop, where heavy wooden shutters, called amadu, seal the space from the street outside. One by one, he lifts them from their tracks and carries them to a storage closet at the side. Each shutter is heavy, made of thick cedar planks. The process is methodical, a quiet rhythm of lift, walk, and place. As the last shutter is removed, the morning light floods into the shop. It is not a harsh light, but a soft, golden glow that illuminates the dust motes dancing in the air. The shop awakens. The light reveals the details of the space. The long counter of polished Zelkova wood, worn smooth by decades of use. The shelves lined with ceramic jars, each holding a different variety of tea. The floor is made of dark, wide planks. The walls are a simple, earthen plaster. There is no decoration, no unnecessary clutter. The beauty of the shop is in its simplicity and the quality of its materials. Kenjiro stands for a moment in the center of the room, simply observing. He looks at his shop as if seeing it for the first time. He notices the way the light falls on a particular tea caddy, the subtle texture of the wall. This practice of mindful observation keeps his senses sharp. It prevents him from taking his surroundings for granted. Now, the work of preparation begins. He takes a soft cloth and a small bucket of the fresh water he just carried. He begins to wipe down the long wooden counter. His movements are deliberate and graceful. He follows the grain of the wood, his hand moving in long, sweeping strokes. He is not just cleaning a surface. He is caring for the wood, showing it respect. The counter is the heart of his shop. It is where he meets his customers. It is where the tea is prepared and served. It must be perfectly clean, both physically and energetically. After the counter is clean, he takes a broom made of soft reeds. He begins to sweep the wooden floor. He starts at the back of the shop and works his way to the front. His sweeping is not a hurried chore. It is a rhythmic, meditative practice. The soft whisper of the broom against the floor is the only sound. He sweeps with care, gathering every speck of dust. He feels that he is not just sweeping away dirt. He is sweeping away the stagnant energy of the night, creating a fresh, clean space for the new day. Once the sweeping is done, he turns his attention to the hearth. The orori, set into the floor. A heavy iron kettle, the tetsubin, hangs from a hook suspended from the ceiling above it. He checks the ash in the hearth, smoothing it with a small rake. He lays a new bed of charcoal, arranging the black pieces with practiced precision. He will not light the fire yet. That will come later, just before the first customers are expected. But the preparation must be done now. Everything in his shop has its own time, its own rhythm. He looks at the shelves of tea. Each jar is a different size and shape, with a simple paper label indicating its contents. Gyokuro, sencha, buncha, each has its own place. He runs his hand over the cool ceramic surface of a jar containing premium Yuji Yakuro. He feels a connection to the leaves inside, to the farmers who grew them, to the land that nourished them. His work is the final stage of a long journey. He has a responsibility to honor the efforts of all those who came before him. Now the shop is clean. It is filled with light, but it is not yet fully awake. There is one final step. Kenjiro goes to a small wooden box and takes out a single stick of incense. Today he chooses sandalwood. Its fragrance is clean and calming, perfect for the morning. He lights the tip of the incense stick from a small ember he has kept alive from yesterday's fire. He blows gently on the glowing tip until a thin wisp of white smoke begins to rise. He places the stick in a small ceramic holder on the corner of the counter. The smoke curls upwards, a delicate, fragrant line drawn in the air. The scent of sandalwood slowly begins to fill the shop. It mixes with the smell of wood and tea, creating a unique atmosphere of peace and reverence. The shop is ready. It is a welcoming space, a sanctuary from the noise and bustle of the world outside. Kenjiro has created this space not just with his hands, but with his intention. He looks out the open front of his shop onto the street. The city of Kyoto is coming to life. People are walking by, their voices a low murmur. A cart rumbles past on its wooden wheels. He is a part of this world, yet he has created a space that is apart from it. A place where time seems to slow down. His young apprentice, Haru, arrives. Haru is a boy of 16, eager to learn, but still possessing a youthful impatience. He bows deeply to Kenjiro. "Good morning, master," Haru says. "Good morning, Haru," Kenjiro replies. The shop is ready. Today, we begin with the grinding of the tensia. Haru's eyes light up. This is his favorite task. It is a sign of the trust Kenjiro places in him. Kenjiro feels a sense of quiet satisfaction. The day is unfolding as it should. The shop is awake. The light is here. The work is about to begin. He moves towards the back room, where the stone mill is kept. His steps are light. His heart is calm. The world is in balance. The awakening of the shop is a reflection of his own inner awakening. He has prepared the physical space, and in doing so, he has prepared himself. He is ready to serve. In a small, clean room at the back of the shop sits the stone mill, the Usu. It is one of Kenjiro's most prized possessions. It is not made of just any stone, but of a specific type of granite from a famous mountain quarry. The mill consists of two thick, circular stones. The bottom stone is stationary, with a pattern of grooves carved into its surface. The top stone is slightly smaller and has a hole in the center where the tea leaves are fed, and a small wooden handle to turn it. The two stones fit together perfectly. The weight of the top stone is precisely calibrated to grind the tea leaves into a fine powder without creating too much heat from friction, which would spoil the delicate flavor. This mill has been in his family for 3 generations. The wooden handle is dark and smooth, worn by the hands of his father and his grandfather before him. When Kenjiro touches it, he feels a connection to his past. He and Haru enter the room. The air here is always cooler, and it holds the permanent, sweet, grassy scent of matter. Today, we will grind enough for 3 small caddies, Kenjiro says in a low, even voice. The tensia from the first spring harvest. He goes to a large, airtight ceramic jar in the corner. He carefully removes the lid. Inside are the tea leaves known as tensia. These are special leaves. grown in the shade for several weeks before being harvested. Unlike other teas, the tensia leaves are not rolled. After being steamed and dried, they are left in their flat, flaky form. This is the raw material for matcha. Kenjiro takes a small wooden scoop and carefully lifts some of the tensia from the jar. He holds it out for Haru to see. The leaves are a deep, vibrant emerald green. Their fragrance is intense, a mixture of fresh grass, sweet spinach, and a hint of the ocean. Observe the color, Haru Kenjiro says. This is the sign of a quality leaf, full of life. It has been well cared for, from the field to our shop. He places the leaves on a clean sheet of white paper. He and Haru sit on their knees on opposite sides of the stone mill. Before they begin, Kenjiro takes a set of small, soft brushes. He meticulously cleans the grinding surfaces of the stones, removing any specks of powder from the previous day's work. The mill must be perfectly clean to ensure the purity of the new matcha. The preparation is as important as the act itself. It shows respect for the tools and the materials. When he is satisfied that the mill is clean, he fits the top stone back onto the bottom one. He takes a small spoonful of the tensia leaves and drops them into the hole at the center of the top stone. He places his hand on the wooden handle. The rhythm must be slow and constant. He instructs Haru, though the boy has heard these words many times. Not too fast, or the stones will grow warm. Not too slow, or the powder will be coarse. Feel the resistance of the leaves. Listen to the sound of the stone. Kenjiro begins to turn the handle. The top stone rotates with a soft, gritty whisper. It is a deeply satisfying sound, the sound of transformation. He turns the stone in a steady, circular motion. His breathing is synchronized with the movement. His entire focus is on the mill. After a few rotations, a fine, bright green powder begins to emerge from between the two stones, gathering in the circular groove of the bottom stone. It is matcha. The color is electric, a brilliant, jewel-like green. The fragrance that rises from the freshly ground tea is even more intense than that of the leaves. Kenjiro stops and looks at Haru. Now, it is your turn. Remember, it is not a task of strength. It is a task of patience. Haru nods, his expression serious. He places his hand on the handle. His first few turns are a little jerky, a little too fast. Slower, Haru Kenjiro says gently. Breathe. Feel the stone as an extension of your arm. Become one with the movement. Haru closes his eyes for a moment, takes a deep breath, and begins again. This time, his motion is smoother. He finds the rhythm. The soft, whispering sound of the grinding returns. They work in turns. One will grind, while the other carefully adds more tensia leaves into the central hole, a few at a time. They do not speak. The only sounds are the turning of the stone and their quiet breathing. The work is slow. It takes nearly an hour to produce a small quantity of high-quality matcha. Grinding by hand in this way creates a powder that is exceptionally fine, with a particle size of only a few microns. This is what allows it to be whisked into a smooth, frothy suspension in hot water. Kenjiro watches the pile of green powder grow. He thinks about the journey of these leaves, the careful shade growing, the selective picking by hand, the steaming, the drying, and now this final, gentle transformation. He feels he is not just grinding tea, he is releasing the spirit of the leaf. The process is a meditation. The repetitive motion quiets the mind. The intense focus on the task pushes away all other thoughts. There is only the stone, the leaves, and the vibrant green powder. As they work, The sun climbs higher in the sky, and the light in the small room changes. The sounds of the city outside become more prominent, but here, in this room, there is a bubble of profound peace. Haru is concentrating so hard that a single bead of sweat forms on his temple. He does not notice it. He is lost in the rhythm of the work. Kenjiro sees this and feels a sense of pride in his apprentice. The boy is learning. He is learning not just the technique, but the spirit of the work. Finally, they have ground enough tensia to fill the 3 small caddies. Kenjiro signals for Haru to stop. The soft whispering of the stone ceases, and the room falls silent. The pile of freshly ground matcha on the stone is beautiful. It looks like a small, green mountain covered in soft moss. Kenjiro takes a delicate feather brush. With extreme care, he sweeps the matcha powder from the stone onto a sheet of clean paper. He gathers every last particle. None must be wasted. He carefully funnels the powder into the small, dark ceramic caddies, the natsumi. He fills each one, tapping it gently to settle the powder, then seals it with its lid. This matcha is now at its peak of freshness and flavor. It will be sold or served within a few days. Matcha is a delicate thing. Its life is vibrant but short. They clean the stone mill again, meticulously, preparing it for the next time it will be used. They put the tensia jar back in its place. The room is left as clean and orderly as they found it. The task is complete. Kenjiro holds one of the small caddies in his hand. It feels cool and heavy. He can feel the preciousness of what is inside. He and Haru have not simply performed a chore. They have participated in an ancient art. They have created something of beauty and value through patience and mindful effort. Kenjiro places the caddies on a special shelf in the main shop, ready for the customers who will appreciate their quality. He looks at Haru and gives a slight nod of approval. Good work, Haru. Now, let us prepare the hearth. The first customers will be arriving soon. The apprentice bows, a genuine smile on his face. He has contributed. He is a part of the life of the shop, and he has learned another small lesson in the long path of tea. Just as Kenjiro finishes lighting the charcoal in the hearth, a shadow falls across the entrance of the shop. An old man stands there, silhouetted against the bright morning street. He is a monk from a small temple in the nearby hills. His name is Saseki. He has been coming to Kenjiro's shop every few days for many years. His robes are simple, the color of the earth. His head is shaved, and his face is a map of deep, gentle wrinkles. He leans on a simple wooden staff. Soseki does not enter immediately. He stands at the threshold, observing the shop, taking in its clean, calm atmosphere. Kenjiro does not rush to greet him. He understands this quiet ritual. After a moment, Saseki steps inside, his straw sandals making a soft, shuffling sound on the wooden floor. He gives Kenjiro a deep, slow bow, his hands pressed together. Kenjiro returns the bow with equal reverence. "Welcome, Saseki-sama," he says, his voice soft. "The morning is beautiful today." "Every morning is beautiful, Kenjiro-san," the monk replies, his voice a low, gravelly whisper. "But yes, this one is especially clear. There is no talk of business. Soseki is not just a customer. He is a respected guest. Their relationship has evolved beyond simple commerce. It is a friendship built on a shared appreciation for stillness." "Will you take tea?" Kenjiro asks, though he already knows the answer. Saseki smiles, a gentle expression that seems to light up his entire face. "I have walked a long way for your tea." My morning meditation would not be complete without it. Kenjiro invites the monk to sit on the raised tatami platform at the side of the shop, a space reserved for guests who wish to stay and drink tea. Sasaki settles himself onto a cushion with a quiet sigh of contentment. Haru, the apprentice, quietly brings a small tray with a sweet cake made of bean paste. He places it before the monk and bows, then retreats to the back of the shop to observe. He knows that this is a lesson, a chance to watch his master at work. Kenjiro now begins the preparation of the tea. His movements become even more focused, more deliberate. Preparing tea for a guest like Saseki is a high honor. It is a form of communication without words. First, he tends to the water. The iron kettle, the tetsubin, is now hanging over the glowing charcoal. It is not yet boiling, but it is hot. A thin wisp of steam reaches from its spout. Kenjiro listens to the sound of the kettle. The Japanese call this sound the matsukaze, the wind in the pines. It is a soft, singing sound that adds to the tranquility of the room. He takes a beautiful ceramic bowl, a chawan, from a wooden box. This one is a raku-ware bowl. Its glaze a deep, dark brown with hints of crimson. It is slightly irregular in shape, fitting perfectly into the hands. He uses a bamboo ladle, a hishaku, to take hot water from the kettle. He pours some of the water into the empty bowl to warm it. He picks up the bowl, turning it slowly in his hands, feeling its warmth spread through the ceramic. Then he discards the water and dries the inside of the bowl with a clean linen cloth, the shakin. His movements are precise and economical, a dance of practiced gestures. Next, he takes one of the small caddies of the matcha. They have just ground. He opens it, revealing the vibrant green powder inside. He uses a delicate bamboo scoop, the chashaku, to measure the matcha into the warmed bowl. 2 scoops, a small green mountain forms at the bottom of the dark bowl. The contrast in colors is beautiful. He returns to the kettle. He ladles more hot water, not boiling now, but at the perfect temperature. He pours the water over the matcha in the bowl. Then he picks up the whisk, the chasan. It is carved from a single piece of bamboo, its end split into 100 fine tines. He begins to whisk the tea. His wrist moves rapidly back and forth, not in a circular motion, but in a straight line, like writing the letter W. The tines of the whisk move through the mixture, breaking up the clumps of matcha and folding air into the liquid. The only sound is the quick, rhythmic tapping of the bamboo whisk against the side of the ceramic bowl. It is a clean, sharp sound. In less than a minute, the tea is transformed. It becomes a thick, creamy liquid, the color of jade, with a fine, frothy foam on top. The preparation is complete. Kenjiro picks up the bowl with both hands. He turns it so that its most beautiful side, its front, is facing the monk. He places the bowl on the tatami mat before Saseki. He bows. Saseki bows. In return, he picks up the bowl, placing it in the palm of his left hand and supporting it with his right. He admires it for a moment, appreciating its warmth and beauty. He raises the bowl in a gesture of gratitude, then brings it to his lips. He takes a long, slow sip. He does not gulp it down. He savors it. A look of profound peace settles on the old monk's face. He closes his eyes. Kenjiro watches him. This is the moment of completion. The moment when his work, his care, and his intention are received and appreciated. It is a moment of pure connection. After a few sips, Saseki places the bowl down. He looks at Kenjiro. The wind in the pines is singing clearly today, Kenjiro-san, the monk says. It is his way of saying that tea is perfect. "'Tis the morning water," Kenjiro replies humbly. They sit in comfortable silence for a long time. The monk finishes his tea, taking his time with each sip. The sweet cake remains untouched for now. It will be enjoyed after the tea to complement the lingering, bittersweet flavor. The sounds of the city drift in from the street, but inside the shop a pocket of stillness has been created. It is a space defined by the simple ritual of preparing and receiving a bowl of tea. Haru watches from the back, completely captivated. He is learning that the way of tea is not just about leaves and water. It is about mindfulness, respect, and creating moments of beauty. Finally, Saseki finishes the last of the tea. He takes the small sweet and eats it in 2 bites. He sighs, a sound of pure satisfaction. "Thank you, my friend," he says. "You have fortified my spirit for the day." He places a few small coins on the tatami beside him, more than the tea is worth. Kenjiro does not object. It is part of their ritual. The old monk rises to his feet, using his staff for support. He and Kenjiro exchange one final, deep bow. "May your day be filled with peace," Saseki says. "And may your path be clear," Kenjiro replies. The monk turns and walks out of the shop, back into the bright morning light. The shadow is gone. Kenjiro is left in the quiet space. He feels calm and centered. The first transaction of the day was not about money. It was about an exchange of spirit. He picks up the empty tea bowl. It is still warm. He feels that the day has been properly blessed. It has begun in the right way, with an act of mindful service and shared tranquility. He takes the bowl to be cleaned, his movements still slow and deliberate. The shop is quiet again, waiting for the next customer, the next story. After the quiet intensity of serving the monk, the rhythm of the shop shifts to a more practical, yet equally mindful, task. Yesterday, a large bale of freshly harvested sencha arrived from a farm in the Yuji region, an area famous for its high-quality teas. The bale, wrapped in thick, sturdy paper and tied with straw rope, sits in the back room. Kenjiro cuts the ropes, and the scent of the new tea fills the air. It is a different fragrance from the matcha brighter, more vegetal, like a field of grass after a summer rain. He spreads a large, clean, white cloth over a low table. He carefully pours a portion of the tea leaves from the bale onto the cloth. It forms a large, dark green pile. To the untrained eye, the tea looks perfect. But Kenjiro knows better. He runs his fingers through the leaves. He can feel the slight variations in size and texture. "Haru," he calls. The apprentice comes quickly. "It is time to sort the new sencha," Kenjiro says. "Bring a stool. We will work together." Haru's face shows a flicker of disappointment. This is not as exciting as grinding matcha or whisking tea. It is slow, painstaking work. But he knows better than to complain. They sit side by side at the low table. Kenjiro takes a small handful of the leaves and spreads them out in a thin layer in front of him. "Look closely," he says, pointing with his finger. "Do you see this?" He isolates a small, woody stem. "This is kuki. It is too hard and will make the tea bitter if we leave it in." He then points to a leaf that is slightly yellowed. This one was touched by too much sun. It has lost its vitality. He finds a tiny, broken fragment of a leaf. And this is Ko, the dust. It makes the tea cloudy. Their task is to remove these imperfections. They must pick out the stems, the discolored leaves, the broken pieces, and any other impurities. What remains will be the pure, perfect sencha leaves. The Aracha Kenjiro places 3 small bowls on the table. One for the stems, one for the lesser quality leaves, and one for the dust. Nothing will be wasted. The stems can be roasted to make a different kind of tea, kokicha. The other leaves can be used for bancha, a lower grade everyday tea. The work is not difficult, Kenjiro explains, but it requires your full attention. You cannot let your mind wander. You must look at each leaf, he demonstrates, his hands moving with a swift, practiced grace. His eyes scan the small patch of leaves in front of him. His fingers dart in, picking out a tiny stem here, a yellowed leaf there. It is like he is weeding a miniature garden. Haru begins to work as well. His movements are slower, more clumsy. He has to look very closely to spot the imperfections that his master sees in an instant. They work in silence. The only sound is the soft rustle of the dry tea leaves as they sift through them with their fingers. It is tedious work. The pile of unsorted tea seems immense. The pile of sorted, perfect leaves grows with painstaking slowness. After a few minutes, Haru begins to fidget. His attention starts to drift to the sounds of the street outside. Kenjiro notices this without looking up from his work. "Your mind is a wild horse, Haru," he says, his voice calm and even. "You must give it a simple task to focus on. Give it this task. Tell it to find the next stem, and the next one after that." Haru looks at his master, a little embarrassed. He takes a deep breath and focuses again on the leaves in front of him. He tries to follow Kenjiro's advice. He stops thinking about how long the task will take. He just focuses on finding the next imperfect leaf. Slowly, a change occurs. As Haru forces his mind to concentrate on the small details, the world outside seems to fade away. His awareness shrinks to the small patch of green leaves before him. He starts to notice things he had not seen before. The beautiful, needle-like shape of the good leaves, the way the light catches their glossy surface, the subtle variations in their green color. He becomes absorbed in the task. His movements become smoother, more confident. He is no longer just picking out bad leaves. He is selecting the good ones. He is curating the tea. Kenjiro observes the change in his apprentice. He allows himself a small, internal smile. The boy is learning a deeper lesson. He is learning about patience. He is learning about focus. This task, which seems so humble, is at the core of their craft. It is this attention to detail that separates good tea from exceptional tea. It is a sign of respect for the product and for the customer who will eventually drink it. They work for over an hour. The sun moves across the sky, and the light coming through the front of the shop shifts. The pile of unsorted tea shrinks, while the pile of pure sencha grows. The 3 small bowls of rejected pieces are now full. Kenjiro stops. "That is enough for now," he says. "We have sorted enough to fill the main caddy in the shop." Haru looks up, blinking as if waking from a trance. He looks at the large pile of beautiful, uniform leaves they have created. He feels a surprising sense of accomplishment. "It is beautiful, Master," he says, his voice filled with genuine wonder. "It was always beautiful," Kenjiro replies. "We have simply helped it to reveal its true nature." Kenjiro carefully gathers the sorted leaves and places them in a large, unadorned tin caddy that will be kept on the counter for daily use. He then gathers the separated stems and leaves, putting them aside for later processing. He sweeps the fine dust, the CO, into a small bag. Even this will be used, perhaps mixed with rice, to make janaka. In the world of tea, every part has a purpose. Haru stretches his arms and back. He feels a little stiff, but his mind is clear and calm. The restless energy he had earlier is gone, replaced by a quiet focus. "I understand now," Master Haru says. "The sorting is not a punishment. It is a practice." Kenjiro nods. "Everything we do is a practice, Haru. From carrying the water to sorting the leaves, each task is an opportunity to train the mind to be present in the moment." He looks at the newly filled caddy of sencha. He knows that when he brews this tea for a customer, he will do so with a deeper appreciation. He will remember the shared time, the quiet focus, the feel of the leaves in his hands. The work is not just about the final product, it is about the process. It is about the care and attention that are woven into every step. This is what gives the tea its soul. This is what transforms a simple leaf into a vessel for peace and contemplation. The bale of unsorted tea still sits in the corner, waiting. There are many more hours of sorting ahead of them, but now Haru does not see it as a burden. He sees it as an opportunity. An opportunity to practice, to learn, and to find the stillness within the work. The sun is now high in the sky, directly overhead. The shadows in the street are short, and the air has grown warmer. The busiest part of the morning is over. A natural lull descends upon the city as people retreat for their midday meal. Kenjiro decides it is time for them to eat as well. He does not close the shop completely. He simply slides a small screen partway across the entrance, a subtle sign to passers-by that he is taking a break. "Haru, it is time to eat," he says. "Please bring the meal from the house." While Haru goes to the attached residence to fetch their food, Kenjiro prepares the space for their meal. He does not eat at the main counter. He has a small, low table in the back room, the same room where they sorted the tea. He wipes the table clean and sets out 2 simple wooden trays. On each, he places a pair of chopsticks, a small ceramic cup for tea, and a rough earthenware bowl. Haru returns with a covered wooden box. He sets it on the table. Kenjiro's wife Hane has prepared their lunch, as she does every day. It is always simple, but always made with care. Kenjiro lifts the lid. Inside are 2 lacquer bowls filled with steaming white rice. Beside them is a small platter of grilled fish, a dish of pickled radishes, and another of simmered greens. The colors are beautiful: the white of the rice, the dark char of the fish skin, the bright yellow of the pickles. The aroma is simple and clean. It is the smell of a home-cooked meal. They sit on cushions on the floor, facing each other across the table. Before they eat, they both press their hands together and bow their heads for a moment. They give silent thanks for the food, for the farmers who grew the rice and vegetables, for the fishermen who caught the fish, and for Hane who prepared the meal. This moment of gratitude is an important part of the meal. It is a reminder that even the simplest food is a gift. They eat in a comfortable silence. The only sounds are the clicking of chopsticks and the soft sounds of chewing. In Kenjiro's world, meals are not a time for idle chatter. They are a time for nourishment and quiet appreciation. Kenjiro eats slowly and mindfully. He pays attention to the taste and texture of each bite. The slight saltiness of the fish, the crisp crunch of the pickle, the subtle bitterness of the greens, the comforting warmth of the rice. He is not just filling his stomach. He is experiencing the food. Haru, as always, eats more quickly. He is a growing boy with a healthy appetite. But in Kenjiro's presence, he has learned to eat with more composure, to curb his youthful eagerness. After they finish the main part of their meal, Kenjiro brews a pot of ban. This is the tea they sorted out earlier. the more common, everyday tea. It has a rustic, slightly toasty flavor. It is a perfect, humble drink to cleanse the palate after a meal. He pours the tea for both of them. They sip it slowly, the warm liquid comforting and settling. When the meal is completely finished, Haru gathers the empty dishes to be taken back to the house for washing. Kenjiro stands up and stretches. "I am going to the garden for a few moments," he says to Haru. "Please watch the front of the shop." Behind the shop and the house is a very small, enclosed garden. It is not a grand or elaborate space. It is Kenjiro's personal sanctuary. He slides open a paper screen door and steps out onto a narrow wooden veranda. The garden is perhaps only a few square meters, surrounded by a high bamboo fence. But within this small space, a world of beauty has been created. The ground is covered in a thick carpet of lush, green moss of several different varieties. A few carefully placed, moss-covered stones suggest a mountain landscape. A single Japanese maple tree grows in one corner, its delicate leaves providing dappled shade. In the center is a large stone basin, a sukubai filled to the brim with clear water. A long bamboo pipe, a sheisiodoshi, slowly fills with water from a hidden source, then tips over with a sharp clack sound to empty itself, before rising to fill again. The rhythmic clack of the bamboo hitting the stone is the only sound, a punctuation mark in the deep silence. Kenjiro does not do anything in the garden. He simply is. He stands on the veranda and observes. He notices the way the sunlight filters through the maple leaves, creating a shifting pattern of light and shadow on the moss below. He watches a dragonfly with iridescent wings land on the edge of the water basin. He sees the tiny, perfect drops of water clinging to the edge of a fern. He feels the warmth of the sun on his face and the gentle breeze that stirs the leaves. This is his time for quiet reflection. The first half of the day is over. He thinks about the quiet monk, the intense focus of the grinding, the patient sorting of the leaves. He does not judge or analyze. He simply allows the memories to surface and pass, like clouds in the sky. This practice of doing nothing is essential to his well-being. The world of a merchant can be busy. There are customers to serve, accounts to keep, suppliers to meet. It is easy to get lost in the endless stream of tasks. This small garden, this short period of quiet observation, is his anchor. It brings him back to the present moment. It reminds him of the simple, natural beauty that is always there, if one only takes the time to look. The clack of the bamboo fountain sounds again. It is a call to attention, a reminder to be awake and aware. He thinks of tea. Tea is a product of nature. It is born from the earth, nourished by the sun and the rain. His work in the shop, the grinding, sorting, and brewing is a way of honoring that natural origin. His garden is a miniature, idealized version of that nature. It helps him stay connected to the source of his craft. He feels his energy returning. The simple meal has nourished his body. The quiet garden has nourished his spirit. He is ready for the second half of the day. He stays for a few more minutes, letting the peace of the garden soak into him. He feels the tensions of the morning melt away. His mind becomes as clear and still as the water in the stone basin. With a final look at the green moss and the dark, wet stones, he turns and steps back into the shop. He feels refreshed, centered, and prepared for whatever the afternoon may bring. The midday pause is over. The work continues, but it will now be infused with the quiet tranquility he has absorbed from his small, perfect garden. The afternoon sun casts a warm, sleepy light into the shop. The flow of customers is slow and gentle. An old woman buys a small packet of bansha for her evening meal. A young mother comes for a special blend to help her baby sleep. Kenjiro serves them all with the same quiet attention and care. He measures the leaves, wraps them in clean paper, and exchanges a few pleasant words. Then, a different kind of presence fills the entrance. 2 men stand there. They are samurai. This is immediately obvious from their to swords, the long katana and the shorter wakizashi tucked into their belts. They are dressed in formal, dark blue hakama and kimono. Their hair is tied in the traditional top knot. Their faces are stern and impassive. They are not here to browse. The senior samurai, a man with a thin, severe face and a small, neat beard, steps forward. The younger one remains at the entrance, his hand resting lightly on the hilt of his sword, his eyes scanning the street. Haru, who is sweeping the floor at the back, freezes. He has not seen many samurai up close. He is intimidated by their silent, powerful presence. Kenjiro, however, remains calm. He has dealt with the samurai class before. He knows they value precision, respect, and directness. He puts down the tea scoop he was holding and gives a formal, deep bow. "Welcome to my shop," he says, his voice level and steady. "How may I be of service to you?" The samurai does not return the bow, but gives a slight, sharp nod of his head. "I am here on behalf of my master, Lord Nagai of the Eastern Province," he announces, his voice crisp and authoritative. "Lord Nagai has heard of your shop. He is a man of refined taste. He requires the finest tea for a special gathering of poets. He is hosting at his villa this evening." Kenjiro listens without expression. He understands the situation immediately. This is not just a purchase, it is a test. The reputation of his shop, and perhaps his own safety, depends on how he handles this transaction. "It would be a great honor to provide tea for Lord Nagai," Kenjiro replies. "I have a gakuro from Yuji, from the very first harvest of the spring. It is called Crane's Dew. It is the finest I have in my possession." The samurai, whose name is Jiro, raises a skeptical eyebrow. "My lord is not interested in mere names. He is interested in quality. He requires a tea that is sweet, like nectar, with a deep umami flavor and a fragrance that lingers like a memory." Jiro's description is precise. He is not just a soldier. He clearly knows something about tea. This makes the situation even more delicate. "Of course," Kenjiro says. "Would you allow me to prepare a small sample for you, so you may judge its quality for yourself? This is a risk. Preparing tea for a samurai is a performance. Every gesture will be scrutinized. But it is the only way to prove the worth of his product." Jiro considers this for a moment, then gives another sharp nod. "Very well, but be quick. My time is valuable." Kenjiro bows again and turns to his work. He tells Haru with a glance to stay in the back. The boy is too nervous and might make a mistake. Kenjiro's movements are as calm and deliberate as they were for the monk Saseki. But now there is an added layer of focused intensity. He knows he is being judged by a different standard. He selects a special small teapot, a kusu, made of dark clay from the Tokonomi region. He also chooses a tiny, delicate porcelain cup, thin enough to be translucent. The preparation of gakuro is very different from that of matcha. It requires much cooler water to draw out its sweetness and avoid bitterness. He takes some of the hot water from the kettle and pours it into a separate vessel, a water cooler called a yuzamashi. He lets it sit for a minute, its temperature dropping. Then he pours it into the empty teapot to warm it, and from there into the small cup. He is cooling the water in stages. This patient, methodical process seems to have a calming effect on the samurai. Jiro watches his stern expression unchanging, but the tension in his shoulders seems to lessen slightly. He is witnessing true expertise. Kenjiro discards the water. He places a generous amount of the long, dark green, needle-like gyakuro leaves into the warmed teapot. He then pours the cooled water, now at the perfect, lukewarm temperature, over the leaves. He puts the lid on the teapot and waits. He does not time it with a clock. He times it with his senses. He watches the leaves unfurl. He feels the warmth of the pot in his hands. He focuses his full awareness on the transformation happening inside the clay vessel. After about 2 minutes, he knows it is ready. He picks up the teapot. He begins to pour the tea into the small cup. He pours with extreme slowness, making sure that the last, most flavorful drops are extracted from the leaves. The resulting liquid is not a large amount, just a few precious sips. The color is a pale, limpid green. The aroma that rises from the cup is astonishingly rich and complex. It smells of fresh seaweed, sweet peas, and a hint of melon. Kenjiro places the small cup on a lacquer tray and presents it to Jiro. The samurai picks up the cup. He observes the color of the liquid. He inhales its fragrance. Then he takes a small, thoughtful sip. He holds the tea in his mouth for a moment, his eyes closing. An almost imperceptible change comes over his severe face. The hard lines around his mouth soften. He swallows. He takes another sip. He puts the cup down. He looks directly at Kenjiro. The name is appropriate, Jiro says. His voice is still crisp, but it has lost its challenging edge. It is indeed like the dew of the morning. Kenjiro feels a wave of quiet relief, but he does not let it show on his face. He simply bows his head in acknowledgement. "I will take enough for 20 guests, Jiro states. "It must be wrapped in a manner befitting a gift for a lord." "Of course," Kenjiro says. He moves to his wrapping station. He measures out the precious gyakuro leaves and places them in a special container made of cherry bark. He then wraps the container in a beautiful, handmade paper washi of a deep indigo color. He ties it with a flat, braided silk cord of gold and red. His knot is intricate and perfectly symmetrical. The final package is a work of art in itself. It speaks of quality and respect. He presents the package to Jiro. The samurai takes it and examines the wrapping with an appreciative eye. He places a small, heavy purse of coins on the counter. It is far more than the tea is worth. Kenjiro knows this is not a payment, but a reward for his skill and composure. To refuse it would be an insult. "My master will be pleased," Jiro says. This is the highest praise a samurai like him can give. He gives one final nod, turns, and strides out of the shop. The younger samurai, who has been standing guard this whole time, bows quickly and follows him. And then they are gone. The powerful presence vanishes, and the shop returns to its normal, peaceful state. Kenjiro lets out a breath he did not realize he was holding. He looks over at Haru, who is peeking out from the back room, his eyes wide. Kenjiro gives him a small, reassuring smile. "You see, Haru, the way of tea can calm even the most fearsome warrior." He feels a deep sense of satisfaction. He has not just sold tea. He has navigated a difficult social encounter with skill and grace. He has upheld the honor of his shop and his craft. He knows that word of this encounter may spread. His reputation may grow. But for Kenjiro, the true reward was in the moment when the samurai tasted the tea and his stern face softened. In that moment, he had shared not just a flavor, but a feeling of beauty, of calm, of a world beyond conflict and duty. And that, to Kenjiro, is the true purpose of his work. With the excitement of the samurai's visit past, the afternoon settles into a deeper quiet. This is the time of day Kenjiro reserves for one of his most personal and creative tasks, the art of blending teas. While he sells many pure, single-origin teas, he is also known throughout his part of Kyoto for his unique blends. These are his own creations, recipes developed over years of patient experimentation. He does not blend teas to hide imperfections. He blends them to create something new, a flavor profile that is more complex and harmonious than any single tea on its own. It is like a painter mixing colors to achieve the perfect shade. Today, he wants to create a new blend for the autumn season. He envisions a tea that is comforting and slightly warming, with a flavor that hints at roasted nuts and fallen leaves. He clears a large space on his work counter. He asks Haru to bring him several small caddies from the storage room. These are not his most expensive teas, but good, solid teas that he knows well. He brings out a caddy of bancha, a later harvest tea that has a robust, woody character. He brings out a caddy of hojisha, which is bancha that has been roasted over charcoal, giving it a rich, nutty, and smoky flavor. He also selects a caddy of sencha from a lesser-known mountain region. This one is not as refined as the Yuji teas, but it has a pleasant, refreshing astringency and a crisp finish. These are his components. His palette of flavors. He lays out a large sheet of white paper. He takes a small, precise scale made of brass and wood. Blending is an art, but it begins with science. The proportions must be exact. He also sets out several small tasting cups and a Kyushu teapot dedicated only to his blending experiments. Watch carefully, Haru, he says. Today we are not following a recipe. We are searching for one. He begins with his base. He decides the roasted hojisha will be the dominant flavor, the foundation of the blend. He weighs out a specific amount and places it in a large ceramic bowl. He smells the roasted leaves, his eyes closed. He is trying to understand their character, to listen to what they need. The hojisha is warm and earthy, he says, thinking aloud for Haru's benefit. But it is a little one-dimensional. It needs something to lift it, to give it brightness. He adds a small amount of the mountain sencha. He measures it precisely. The proportion is perhaps 1 part sencha to 4 parts hojisha. He then uses his clean, dry hands to gently mix the 2 types of leaves together in the bowl. He lifts them and lets them fall, observing how they combine. The dark, brownish roasted leaves of the hojisha mix with the vibrant green needles of the sencha. Now we taste, he says. He brews a small amount of this first experimental blend. He is as careful with the water temperature and brewing time as he would be for any customer. He pours the brewed tea into 2 tasting cups. He and Haru observe the color of the liquid. It is a warm amber brown, slightly lighter than pure hoji. They both take a sip. They do not swallow immediately. They let the liquid coat their tongues, analyzing the flavors. Kenjiro makes a soft sound of consideration. It is better, he says. The sencha cuts through the roastiness. It adds a pleasant, clean feeling at the end. But it is not complete. It feels thin. It lacks depth in the middle. Haru nods in agreement, though he is not sure he could have identified the problem himself. He is learning to trust his master's palate. It needs more body, Kenjiro continues. It needs something to give it a more satisfying, lingering feeling. This is where the bancha comes in. He adds a very small amount of the bancha to the blend in the bowl. Bancha can have a strong, sometimes coarse flavor, so he must be careful. He adds only a tiny pinch, the equivalent of a half part to the whole. He mixes the leaves again and brews a second test batch. Again they taste. Kenjiro's eyes light up slightly. "Ah," he says. "There it is. The addition of the bancha has worked. It has filled in the middle of the flavor profile. The taste is now more rounded, more complete. It starts with a comforting roastiness of the hojishia, moves through a solid, earthy middle from the bancha, and finishes with a clean, bright note of the sencha. He is close, but he is a perfectionist. It is good, he says, but it could be better. It feels ... a little rough. The flavors are all there, but they are not fully integrated. They are like three people in a room who are not speaking to each other." He sits in thought for a long moment, looking at the tea leaves in the bowl. Haru waits patiently, knowing not to interrupt his master's creative process. Then Kenjiro has an idea. "The roasting," he says softly. "The hojisha is roasted. The others are not. Perhaps that is the source of the discord." He takes the entire bowl of his new blend. He goes to a small, specialized ceramic pan called a haruku. He places it over a low charcoal flame. He pours the blended leaves into the pan. He begins to toast them gently, shaking the pan constantly to keep them from burning. A new, wonderful aroma begins to fill the shop. It is the smell of the sencha and bancha leaves releasing their fragrance as they are lightly toasted, mingling with the deeper roast of the hojisha. He does not roast them for long, just a minute or two, just enough to warm them through and lightly toast the unroasted leaves. He is not trying to create more hojitsuya. He is trying to marry the flavors together. He removes the pan from the heat and lets the leaves cool. The sencha leaves are no longer bright green, but a darker olive color. "Now," he says, a hint of excitement in his voice, "let us try one more time." He brews a third batch from the lightly toasted blend. He pours the tea. The color is now a slightly deeper, more radiant amber. He hands a cup to Haru. They both sip it. The difference is remarkable. The flavors are now seamless. The tea flows over the tongue as a single, harmonious experience. It is warm, comforting, complex, and deeply satisfying. It tastes exactly as he had imagined it, like a perfect, crisp autumn afternoon. Kenjiyo smiles, a true, broad smile of creation and discovery. "This is it," he says. "This will be our autumn half blend." Haru is also smiling. He has just witnessed an act of pure artistry. He has seen his master take simple ingredients and, through knowledge, intuition, and patience, create something truly special. Kenjiro carefully weighs out the proportions of his new recipe and writes them down in a small, leather-bound book where he keeps the secrets of his blends. He feels a deep sense of fulfillment. This is a part of his work that belongs entirely to him. It is his contribution to the world of tea, his personal expression of its endless possibilities. He takes another slow sip of the autumn hearth tea, savoring his creation. The afternoon sun slants low through the door, and the shop is filled with a golden light and the warm, comforting aroma of roasted tea. It is a moment of perfect contentment. As the afternoon wears on, the sky outside, which had been a clear, brilliant blue, begins to change. Thin, wispy clouds gather and thicken, and the bright sunlight softens into a diffused, greyish light, the air becomes heavy and still. There is a sense of anticipation in the city. The usual noises of the street seem to become more muted, as if the world is holding its breath. Kenjiro looks up from his account book. He can feel the change in the atmosphere. It is going to rain, he says quietly to Haru. And then it begins, not with a sudden downpour, but with a few fat, solitary drops of water that land on the dusty street outside, creating dark, coin-sized spots. Then a few more drops fall, and a few more after that. Soon, a steady, gentle rain is falling. It is not a violent storm, but a soft, persistent shower. The sound of the rain is one of the most beautiful sounds in the world to Kenjiro. It is a soft, rhythmic pattering on the tiled roof of the shop. It is a gentle hissing sound as it meets the dry earth of the street. The atmosphere inside the shop is instantly transformed. The world outside seems to dissolve behind a curtain of falling water. The shop becomes an intimate, enclosed sanctuary. The light inside grows dimmer, warmer. Kenjiro lights a single oil lamp on the counter, and its small, flickering flame casts a cozy, golden glow on the dark wood and the ceramic tea caddies. The smell of the air changes, too. The rain brings with it the clean, earthy scent of petrichor, the smell of wet dust and dry soil. It mingles with the indoor scents of tea and sandalwood, creating a calming and nostalgic perfume. Haru, who had been restlessly sweeping, puts down his broom and comes to stand at the open front of the shop, watching the rain fall. He is mesmerized by the sight and sound of it. "I love the rain," he says softly. "The tea plants love the rain, too," Kenjiro replies. "It is what gives them life. We should always be grateful for it." A woman, a weaver from a nearby workshop, is caught in the sudden shower. She scurries into the shelter of Kenjiro's shop, shaking the water from her cloak. "Oh my," she says, laughing. "It came so suddenly. I hope you do not mind if I wait here until it passes." "Of course not," Kenjiro says, with a warm smile. "You are most welcome. Please, sit down. Let me make you some tea to warm you." He does not see her as a potential customer, but as a guest seeking shelter. This is an opportunity for simple hospitality. He decides to brew some of the new autumn hearth blend that he just created. Its warm, toasty character is perfect for a rainy afternoon. As he prepares the tea, the weaver, whose name is Orin, talks about her work. She describes the colors of the silk threads she is using for a new obi sash, the intricate pattern of chrysanthemums she is creating. Kenjiro listens patiently as he works. He enjoys hearing about the crafts of other artisans. He feels a kinship with them. They all share a dedication to creating beautiful things with their hands. The sound of the rain on the roof provides a constant, soothing accompaniment to their conversation. He serves the tea to Orin and to Haru. He has a cup himself. Orin takes a sip, and her eyes widen in surprise and delight. "Ah, this is wonderful," she says. "I have never tasted a tea quite like this. It is so ... comforting. It feels like sitting by a warm fire." Kenjiro is pleased by her reaction. "It is a new blend I created just this afternoon," he explains. "I am glad it brings you comfort." They sit together in a comfortable silence for a while, sipping their tea and listening to the rain. The world of work and deadlines and worries seems very far away. There is only the warm cup in their hands, the pleasant company, and the gentle, hypnotic rhythm of the falling water. The rain washes the city clean. It darkens the wood of the buildings and brightens the green of the moss and the leaves on the trees. It forces a pause in the day's activities. It encourages a moment of quiet introspection. Kenjiro thinks about the concept of wabi-sabi, the Japanese appreciation for the beauty of imperfection and transience. The rain is a part of this. It is a reminder that the world is always changing, that moments of bright sunshine are followed by moments of soft shadow. There is a unique beauty in this rainy, grey afternoon. A beauty of quietness, of shelter, of shared warmth. After some time, the rain begins to lessen. The steady pattering becomes a lighter dripping. The grey sky begins to brighten in the west. A sliver of blue appears. "Ah, it is stopping," Orin says, a little regretfully. "Thank you so much for the shelter and the wonderful tea, Kenjiro-san. You have turned a nuisance into a pleasure." She insists on paying for the tea she drank and also buys a small packet of the new blend to take with her. She bows gratefully and steps back out into the street. The air is fresh and clean. The world looks new, washed clean by the rain. Puddles in the street reflect the clearing sky like mirrors. Kenjiro and Haru stand at the entrance and watch her go. The rain has stopped completely now. The sun breaks through the clouds, and a brilliant rainbow forms over the eastern hills of Kyoto. "Look, Master," Haru says, his voice full of awe. Kenjiro looks at the rainbow. He looks at the glistening, wet street and a fresh, clean world. He feels a sense of deep peace and renewal. The afternoon shower was not an interruption. It was a gift. It brought a moment of unexpected community, a chance to share his new creation, and a reminder of the simple, profound beauty of the natural world. The shop is quiet again, but it is a different kind of quiet now. It is a fresh, clean quiet, filled with the memory of the rain and the promise of the clearing sky. The day is not over, but it feels as if it has been given a new beginning. The air after the rain is cool and clear. A gentle breeze drifts through the shop, carrying the scent of wet earth and blooming flowers from a neighbor's garden. Business remains slow, as people are still emerging from their homes and workshops after the shower. Kenjiro sees this quiet time not as a loss, but as an opportunity. It is a perfect moment for a lesson. "Haru," he says, his voice pulling the apprentice away from his daydreams of the rainbow. "Come, it is time you learned more about the sources of our tea." He leads Haru to a large, beautifully drawn map of Japan that hangs on the wall of the back room. It is old, the paper yellowed with age, but the lines and characters are still clear. "All tea is not the same," Kenjiro begins, pointing to the map. "Just as a person is shaped by the place they are from, so is a tea leaf. The soil, the amount of sun, the morning mists, ... all these things give a tea its unique character." He gestures to an area near Kyoto. "This is Yuji," he says. "You know this place. It is the cradle of Japanese tea. The gakuro and matcha we sell, the finest ones, come from here. The soil is rich, and the hills are often shrouded in mist, which protects the delicate new leaves from too much sun. This is what creates that deep, sweet, umami flavor that is so prized. The farmers of Yuji are masters. Their skills have been passed down for hundreds of years." He moves his finger slightly south, and here, in Shizuoka, near the great mountain Fuji, they produce vast amounts of satya. The land is more open, the sun is stronger. The tea from here is often more brisk, more astringent, with a bright, refreshing quality. It is a strong and honest tea. He points to a region far to the south, on the island of Kyushu. This is Kagoshima. The climate here is warmer, more subtropical. They can harvest tea several times a year. Their teas often have a bold, powerful flavor, full of the energy of the southern sun. Kenjiro is not just listing places on a map. He is telling stories. He speaks of the families of farmers he knows in each region, men and women he has met on his travels. He describes the steep, terraced tea fields of the mountain regions, where picking must be done entirely by hand. He talks about the coastal fields, where the sea breeze gives the tea a unique, slightly savory note. "You must understand, Haru," he says, his voice earnest, "that when we hold these leaves in our hands, we are holding a piece of that place. We are holding the work of the farmer, the rain that fell on his fields, the sun that warmed them. Our job as merchants is to be the final link in that chain. We must honor the source. We must understand the story of the tea so that we can tell it to our customers." He takes down 2 small bowls. He goes to his caddies and takes a pinch of leaves from 2 different types of sencha. One is from Yuji, the other from Shizuoka. He places them side by side. "Look," he says, "even in their dry form, the differences are clear. The Yuji sencha leaves are a deep, dark, glossy green, shaped like fine needles. The Shizuoka sencha is a lighter, more yellowish green, and the leaves are a little flatter. Now, smell them," he instructs. Haru leans over and inhales the fragrance of each. The Yuji tea smells sweet and rich. The Shizuoka tea smells fresh and grassy. "The story is already beginning," Kenjiro says. "Before we even add water, the tea is telling us where it is from." He proceeds to brew both teas, using 2 separate teapots and cups. He is careful to use the same amount of leaf, the same temperature of water, and the same brewing time for both, so that the comparison is fair. He presents the 2 cups of brewed tea to Haru. The liquid from the Yuji sencha is a pale greenish gold. The Shizuoka sencha is a more vibrant yellow-green. "Now, taste," Kenjiro says, "but do not just drink. Listen to what the tea is telling you." Haru takes a sip of the Yuji tea first. It is smooth, mellow, with a distinct sweetness and a deep, savory flavor that fills his mouth. Then he cleanses his palate with a sip of water and tastes the Shizuoka tea. The difference is immediate and striking. This tea is much more brisk and astringent. It has a greener, more vegetal taste, and a clean, refreshing finish that leaves a slight, pleasant bitterness on his tongue. "I see," Haru says, his eyes wide with a new understanding. They are like 2 different people." "Exactly," Kenjiro says, pleased. "One is quiet, deep, and refined. The other is bright, energetic, and straightforward. Neither is better than the other. They are simply different. They express the character of their home." "A good tea merchant must be a student of geography and of people," Kenjiro continues. "He must know which tea will suit the quiet scholar and which will please the busy craftsman. He must be a matchmaker, pairing the right tea with the right person." This lesson goes far beyond a simple list of facts. Kenjiro is trying to instill in his apprentice a deeper philosophy. He is teaching him to see tea not as a mere commodity, but as a living thing with a history and a personality. He is teaching him to look beyond the surface, to understand the hidden connections between the land, the plant, and the final cup. "We do not just sell dried leaves in paper packets," Kenjiro says, his voice taking on a quiet passion. "We sell stories. We sell experiences. We sell a connection to a place and a tradition. Never forget that Haru looks from the map on the wall to the 2 cups of tea on the counter. His world has suddenly become much larger. The small shop is not an isolated island. It is a crossroads, a place where all the different regions of Japan, all their different flavors and stories, come together. He feels a new sense of responsibility and a new sense of wonder. The path of tea is longer and more complex than he ever imagined. "I will not forget, Master," he says, and his voice is filled with a new sincerity. The quiet afternoon has been filled with a journey. They have traveled all over the country without ever leaving the shop, and Haru has taken another important step on his own journey to becoming a true tea master. Late in the afternoon, as the sun begins its slow descent towards the western mountains, a task of great importance arises. A few days prior, Kenjiro received a special order, a discreet message delivered by a silent servant. The order was from a high-ranking nobleman in the imperial court. This nobleman, a patron of the arts and a renowned connoisseur of tea, had requested Kenjiro's finest gyokuro to be delivered for a private moon viewing ceremony. For a merchant like Kenjiro, an order from the court is both a tremendous honor and a source of great anxiety. The standards of the nobility are exacting. The slightest imperfection in the product or its presentation could result in a loss of reputation or worse. The tea for this order is the same crane's dew that Kenjiro had sold to the samurai's retainer. But this time, it is not the tea itself that is the focus, but the entire presentation of the delivery. Haru Kenjiro says, his tone serious. "Come and assist me. We must prepare the gift for Lord Fujiwara." He clears a large space on the counter. He brings out the materials he has set aside for this purpose. Everything is of the highest possible quality. First, the container for the tea. It is not the simple cherry bark canister he used for the samurai. This is a small, perfect container made of polished cypress wood. The grain is beautiful, and the lid fits so perfectly that it seems to settle into place with a soft sigh of air. Kenjiro does not touch the box with his bare hands. He wears a pair of clean, white cotton gloves. He carefully measures the jakuro leaves, selecting only the most perfect, unbroken needles. He fills the cypress box, but not to the brim. The empty space is as important as the filled space, suggesting elegance and restraint. He places the lid on the box. Next comes the wrapping. He has a special sheet of washi paper, handmade from the fibers of the gampi plant. It is incredibly thin yet strong, with a soft, natural sheen. Its color is a pale, creamy white, the color of a winter moon. He lays the paper out. He places the cypress box in the center. The wrapping is a complex art form in itself. Each fold must be precise, each corner perfectly sharp. Kenjiro's hands move with the focused grace of a surgeon. He folds the paper around the box, creating clean, overlapping lines. There is no tape, no glue. The package is held together by the tension of the folds and a final, intricate tuck. The result is a package of stunning, minimalist beauty. It speaks of purity and high quality, but it is not yet complete. The package must be tied. For this, Kenjiro has a special cord called a mizahiki. It is made of twisted paper, stiffened with a starchy glue, and dyed a brilliant vermilion red. He takes the cord and, with a series of complex twists and knots, creates a beautiful, symbolic shape on top of the package. He chooses a knot that represents good fortune and longevity. The bright red of the knot is a dramatic contrast to the pale paper, a single, vibrant point of color. The package is now ready. It is more than just tea in a box. It is an object of art, a message of respect and high esteem. Kenjito then places this wrapped box inside a larger box. This one made of lightweight, paulownia wood. He nests it on a bed of soft, clean rice paper to protect it. He places the lid on the outer box. The delivery must be made with care, Kenjiro says to Haru. You will accompany me? It is important for you to see this. He prepares himself for the delivery. He changes into a more formal, dark-colored kimono. He ensures his appearance is neat and impeccable. He places the paulownia box into a furoshiki, a square piece of dark blue silk cloth. He wraps the cloth around the box and ties the corners in a neat, secure knot, creating a handle. Now they are ready to leave. Haru, you will walk a few paces behind me, Kenjiro instructs. You will not speak unless spoken to. You will simply observe. This is a world of subtle rules and silent communication. They leave the shop. The streets of Kyoto are busy with people heading home from work. The air is filled with the smells of cooking fires. But Kenjiro and Haru move through this bustling world as if they are in their own bubble of purpose. Kenjiro walks with a dignified, unhurried pace, holding the precious package with both hands. Their destination is a large, walled compound in a wealthy district of the city. The outer walls are made of imposing grey stone. A heavy wooden gate is guarded by two samurai in formal attire. Kenjiro approaches the gate. He does not speak. He simply stands and waits to be acknowledged. One of the guards approaches him. State your business, he says, his voice flat. I am the tea merchant, Kenjiro. I have a delivery for Lord Fujiwara. Kenjiro replies calmly, giving a low bow. The guard looks him over, his gaze sharp and assessing. He notes Kenjiro's clean, formal attire, the beautifully wrapped package, the respectful demeanor of the apprentice standing behind him. The guard nods and disappears inside the gatehouse. They wait in silence. Kenjiro's heart is beating a little faster, but his face remains a mask of calm composure. After a few moments, the guard returns, accompanied by a steward, an older man in fine silk robes. The steward looks at Kenjiro. Lord Fujiwara is expecting you, he says, his voice soft but authoritative. Follow me. The great gate is opened, and they are led inside. Haru gasps softly. They have entered another world. Inside the walls, there is no noise from the city. They are in a vast, exquisitely beautiful garden. There are meticulously raked gravel beds, ancient, twisted pine trees, and a large, serene pond with colorful koi swimming in its clear water. They follow the steward along a winding stone path. He leads them to a veranda of a large wooden residence. He does not take them inside. You may wait here, the steward says. He takes the package from Kenjiro. He does not open it, but holds it with a reverence that shows he appreciates the care that went into its preparation. The steward disappears into the house. Kenjiro and Haru wait. They do not sit. They stand respectfully on the stone path. For Haru, it is an exercise in patience. He wants to look at everything, at the beautiful garden, the elegant building, but he follows his master's lead, keeping his eyes lowered and his body still. After what seems like a very long time, the steward returns. He is holding a small, sealed envelope. Lord Fujiwara is most pleased with your punctuality and the presentation of your gift, the steward says formally. He extends his gratitude. He hands the envelope to Kenjiro. It contains the payment. Kenjiro accepts it with a deep bow. It is my humble honor to serve the Lord, Kenjiro says. And that is all. The transaction is complete. The steward bows slightly and indicates that they are to leave. They are led back along the stone path, through the great gate, and back out into the bustling city street. The The gate closes behind them. The magical world of the court is sealed off once more. As they walk back to the shop in the fading light, Haru is bursting with questions, but he remains silent until they are away from the wealthy district. "Master," he finally says, "it was ... incredible. The garden ... the silence ... It is a different world," Haru Kenjiro says. "It is a world built on beauty and precision. Aoti, for a moment, became a part of that world. That is a great responsibility." Kenjiro feels the weight of the sealed envelope. The payment is generous, but that is not what matters most to him. What matters is that he has met the standard. He has successfully delivered a small piece of his own world of quiet craftsmanship into the rarefied world of the nobility. He has upheld his family's reputation. He has honored his craft. As they arrive back at the shop, the last light of the sun is disappearing. The day's most demanding task is over. Kenjiro feels a quiet sense of pride and a profound sense of relief. The sun has finally dipped below the Arashiyama Mountains, and the sky is painted in soft hues of orange, pink, and purple. The day is ending. A deep, pervasive calm begins to settle over the city of Kyoto. The frantic energy of the day's work gives way to the gentle rhythms of the evening. The sounds of the street change. The rumble of carts and the calls of vendors are replaced by the laughter of children playing a final game. The distant sound of a temple bell and the soft clatter of wooden getter sandals on the pavement. Inside Kenjiro's shop, the atmosphere also shifts. The golden light of the oil lamp now dominates the space, casting long, soft shadows. The corners of the room recede into a warm darkness, making the space feel smaller, more intimate. There are no more customers. The day's business is done. This is a time that Kenjiro cherishes. It is a time for winding down, for transitioning from the public world of commerce back to the private world of home and family. He does not rush to close up. The process of closing the shop is as much a ritual as the process of opening it. He begins by tending to the hearth. The charcoal fire has burned down to a bed of glowing red embers. He does not extinguish it completely. Using a pair of long metal chopsticks, he carefully gathers the embers into the center and covers them with a thick layer of soft, white ash. This will keep them alive, smoldering gently through the night. In the morning, he will only need to uncover them and add new charcoal to bring the fire back to life. It is a symbol of continuity. The fire of the shop never truly goes out. Next, he turns his attention to the tea utensils, the teapot, the whisk, the scoops, the bowls he has used throughout the day. He cleans each one with meticulous care. He does not simply wash them. He handles each object with respect, drying it with a soft cloth and returning it to its proper place in a wooden box or on a shelf. These are the tools of his trade, his partners in the art of tea. They deserve to be cared for. Haru works alongside him. The apprentice is no longer a restless boy, but a focused young man. His movements mirroring his master's, he wipes down the counter one last time, making sure no stray tea leaves or drops of water remain. They work mostly in silence, comfortable in their shared routine. The small sounds of their work, the soft clink of ceramic, the whisper of a cloth on wood are the only sounds in the quiet shop. Kenjiro feels a deep sense of satisfaction as he looks around the clean, orderly space. Everything is in its place, ready for the new day. A day's work has been completed. A cycle has been closed. He goes to his small desk in the corner and opens his account book. By the light of the lamp, He records the day's transactions. He uses a fine brush and black ink, his calligraphy neat and precise. He notes the sale of the bancher to the old woman, the packet of the new autumn hearth blend to the weaver, and the large payments from the samurai and the court steward. He is not thinking about profit or loss. He is simply creating a record, a story of the day told in numbers and characters. It is a way of honoring the exchanges that took place, the people who came and went. When the accounting is done, he closes the book. The formal business of the day is officially over. He stands up and walks to the front of the shop. He stands for a moment at the entrance, looking out at the deepening twilight. The street is now mostly empty. A few paper lanterns have been lit outside neighboring houses, their warm glow soft and inviting. He breathes in the cool evening air. He feels the fatigue in his body, a pleasant heaviness from a day of honest work. His mind is quiet. The challenges of the Datha stern samurai, the exacting court order are now just memories. They no longer hold any tension. He feels a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for his peaceful life, for his meaningful work, for his home and family. Gratitude for the simple, profound path of tea. Haru comes to stand beside him. The apprentice looks tired, but content. "It was a good day, master," Haru says quietly. "Yes, Haru," Kenjiro replies. "It was a very good day. You worked well." This simple praise from his master means the world to Haru. A small smile touches his lips. The evening calm is not an empty quiet. It is a quiet filled with the resonance of the day's events. It is a quiet of completion, of work done, of peace earned. Kenjiro feels the rhythm of his life, the steady, repeating pattern of opening and closing, of working and resting. It is a simple life, but it is a rich one. He would not trade it for anything. The final task of the evening awaits, closing the shutters and sealing the shop for the night. It is a symbolic act, a final turning inward. He is ready. The day has been full. Now it is time for rest. The time has come to put the shop to sleep. Kenjiro turns to Haru. "Let us close the Amadu," he says. This is the final act of the day, the bookend to the first task of the morning. Just as removing the heavy wooden shutters welcomed the day, installing them now will protect the shop through the night. They go to the storage closet where the shutters are neatly stacked. They work together, a silent, coordinated team. Kenjiro lifts the first shutter. It is heavy and solid in his hands. He carries it to the front of the shop. Haru is already there, having slid open the small wooden panel that reveals the tracks in which the shutters run. Kenjiro hefts the shutter and sets its bottom edge into the outer groove in the floor. He then lifts it and settles the top edge into the corresponding groove in the beam overhead. It slides into place with a solid, satisfying thud. The first shutter is in, a slice of the outside world. The last piece of the evening sky is now blocked from view. They repeat the process, one shutter at a time. Lift, carry, place, lift, carry, place. Their movements are efficient and synchronized, born of long practice. With each shutter that slides into place, the light from the outside is progressively sealed away. The shop grows darker and more insulated. The sounds of the street also become more and more muffled. The distant barking of a dog, the voice of a neighbor calling to her child, these sounds fade, replaced by the deep, resonant sound of the wood sliding into its tracks. It feels as if they are building a fortress of peace around themselves. They are separating the quiet, orderly world of the shop from the unpredictable world outside. As they place the final shutter, the shop is plunged into near total darkness. The only light is the single, small flame of the oil lamp on the counter, which now seems to burn with a brighter, more precious intensity. The silence is profound. The shop is now a sealed container, holding the stillness of the night. Kenjiro secures the last shutter with a simple wooden latch from the inside. The shop is now safe. He stands in the center of the darkened room for a moment. He can feel the presence of the tea all around him, resting in its ceramic jars. Its fragrance, a faint, sweet whisper in the still air. He feels the spirit of the place, a spirit of calm and mindfulness that he has cultivated over many years. He gives a silent nod of thanks to the shop itself for being a good and faithful partner in his life's work. Now for the final tasks. He takes a small wooden box from under the counter. It is his cash box. He opens it and takes out the coins and the sealed envelope from the court steward. He does not count the money now. That is a task for another time. He simply gathers it. He is separating the business from the home. The money belongs to the world of commerce. He will not bring its energy into his private living space. He places the day's earnings into a sturdy cloth bag, which he then locks away in a heavy wooden chest in the back room. The chest is old and strong. It is a symbol of security and stability. Once the money is put away, his mind is free from it. Now, only one thing is left to do. He walks back to the main counter, where the single lamp is burning. He turns to Haru, who has been waiting patiently. "Your work for the day is done." "Haru," Kenjiro says, "you may go home, rest well. Tomorrow we begin again." Haru bows deeply. "Thank you, Master. Good night, Haru." The apprentice slides open the door that leads to the house and disappears, his soft footsteps fading away. Kenjiro is now alone in the silent, dark shop. He is alone with the flickering flame of the lamp. He looks at the flame. It is small and delicate, yet it pushes back the immense darkness. It is a symbol of awareness, of the small, steady light of consciousness in the vast quiet of the universe. He picks up the lamp. The warm glass feels smooth in his hand. He holds it aloft, and his shadow dances on the walls around him. He takes one last look around the space. The familiar shapes of the counter, the shelves, the hearth, are all cloaked in shadow. The shop is at rest. It is breathing slowly in the dark. He walks towards the door to the house. He does not extinguish the lamp. He will carry its light with him. He slides the connecting door open and steps through, leaving the shop behind. He then slides the door closed, the soft thud of the wood in its frame echoing the sound of the shutters. He has crossed the threshold. He is no longer Kenjiro, the tea merchant. He is Kenjiro, the husband, the man returning to his home. The day's work is truly, finally complete. He has brought his world to a peaceful and orderly close. He is ready for the rest and renewal that the night will bring. Even though his home is attached to the back of the shop, Kenjiro does not feel he is truly home until he completes one final, small ritual. He has left the shop through the connecting door, but he is now in the small kitchen and utility area that serves both house and business. He walks through this space to the back door of the house, the same one he exited so many hours ago to fetch the morning water. He slides it open. The night air is cool and smells of damp moss and the faint, clean scent of distant wood smoke. The sky above is a deep, velvety black, strewn with 1,000,000 glittering stars. The moon has not yet risen. His wife, Hane, has lit the single paper lantern that hangs by the door. Its light is soft and warm, a welcoming beacon in the darkness. Kenjiro steps out onto the small stone step. He is not going anywhere. He simply stands there for a moment, letting the night wash over him. This is his way of creating a symbolic journey home, a clear separation between the end of his work and the beginning of his rest. He looks up at the stars. He feels the immense size and mystery of the universe. He thinks of his own small life, his small shop, his day filled with tea and water and fire. He does not feel insignificant. He feels connected. He feels that his small, orderly world is a reflection of the great cosmic order above. Each has its own beauty, its own rhythm. He can hear the faint, chirping song of a cricket from his small garden. He can hear the distant murmur of the city settling down for the night. He turns and looks back at the dark, silent shape of his shop. He feels a quiet pride. He has been a good steward of his small corner of the world for one more day. He steps back inside and slides the door shut, securing the latch. Now, he is truly home. He walks into the main room of the house. Hane is there, mending a kimono by the light of a lamp. She looks up and gives him a soft, warm smile. She does not ask him about his day. She can read it on his face. She can see the calm contentment there. Their long life together has given them a deep, wordless understanding. The bath is ready, she says, and I have saved some soup for you. Thank you, he says. His voice is full of a deep, quiet affection. He goes to the bathing room. The steam from the hot water is thick in the air, smelling of the cedar wood of the tub. He sheds his work clothes, the clothes of the tea merchant, and folds them neatly. He washes himself carefully before stepping into the deep, hot water of the tub. He sinks down until the water is up to his chin. He lets out a long, slow sigh. The heat of the water soaks into his tired muscles, dissolving the last remaining tensions of the day. The worries, the responsibilities, the concentration knit, all melts away into the steam. He closes his eyes. The day replays in his mind, not as a series of events, but as a flow of sensations. The coldness of the well water, the vibrant green of the fresh matcha, the stern face of the samurai, the smell of the rain, the warmth of the autumn hearth tea, the beauty of the court garden, the solid thud of the wooden shutters. It was a good day. It was a full day. He feels a profound sense of peace, a peace that comes from a life lived with purpose and attention, a life where even the smallest actions are infused with meaning. After his bath, he puts on a simple, comfortable nightrobe. He feels clean, renewed, and completely at ease. He joins Hane in the main room. She brings him a bowl of hot miso soup with tofu and seaweed. He eats it slowly, savoring the simple, nourishing flavor. It is the perfect end to the day. They sit together in a comfortable silence. The only sound, the soft crackle of the lamp's wick. Outside, the moon begins to rise, casting a pale, silver light through the paper screens. Kenjiro feels his body growing heavy with a natural, healthy sleepiness. He is ready for rest. He knows that he will sleep deeply and dreamlessly. He will rest and he will renew his energy, so that tomorrow he can rise again before the dawn. He can walk to the well, open the shutters, and begin the cycle once more. The journey of discovery never truly ends. There are always more quiet corners of the universe to explore together.